So I'm Liz Goss,
I'm Margaret Yu.
and together we are the co-founders of Synaptiles.
So the mission statement of Synaptiles is that we're a tech startup dedicated to harnessing the potential of video games as a medium for improving mental health.
You might be wondering what's such a far-fetched idea. I'm actually a medical student at UNC, and I'm doing a joint degree in public health. And the idea for Synaptiles was born when I was doing a rural rotation in family medicine in North Carolina, and I saw during that time a whole lot of patients who needed psychiatric care but couldn't get it because of the lack of providers. Actually, where I was working, there was only one mental health provider in a Tri-County area, and she was a nurse practitioner who had her plate completely full.
So we're not the only people who notice this disparity between providers and people who need care. The public health community is in agreement that there is a huge demand, a far greater demand for treatment than there are providers, and that gap is growing really, really quickly. In fact, it's been a recent focus of concern for policymakers on a larger level, and then also providers. So not only are there just not enough trained and qualified psychiatrists and psychotherapists to do the treatments, but only patients who have plenty of resources and time and accessibility would be able to even begin to seek treatment through conventional routes like going to see a therapist. So how do we make mental health treatments more available and more accessible? And when are we going to start talking about the video game part? So as members of the video game generation, we grew up and loved Mario and Tetris and Pokemon, and we're in several of our games. The games are everywhere. And today, it's even more true than it was 10 or 15 years ago. A study conducted in 2010 found that in the United States, 69% of all heads of household play video games. 97% of these play video games. 40% of gamers are women, and 25% of gamers are over the age of 50. That's an incredible distribution over the entire population. And it's all that adds up to 183 million active gamers in the US alone. So it's important to note that not only is this a ridiculous number, but that people are playing these games because they find them fun and engaging and entertaining. So what if we made mental health treatment as accessible and as fun as a video game?
So researchers and other experts in the field of gaming have been active in identifying the ways that gaming can positively contribute to our lives. So we know that games have the power to change our mood, to teach us new skills, to connect us to broader communities, think Farmville, and to offer new perspectives. We're exploring how these possibilities can be harnessed to accomplish the same goals traditionally addressed by psychotherapy. We're not actually the first group to think about these possibilities. Online interactive psychotherapy has been gaining a lot of traction and widespread acceptance in the medical community in the past few years. And actually there was a recent study in the British Medical Journal that detailed the work of a group out of New Zealand who were able to create a fantasy role-playing computer video game that was effective in treating depression. It was actually comparable in efficacy to the standard of care for depression in teenagers, which the medical community was very impressed with.
The fact that a simple computer game can be as effective as conventional care for depression is really, really exciting. So that's where we come in. Right now, there's not much collaboration between the medical and the communities, and so this field is wide open for exploration and exploration. Our idea is to, represent this kind of partnership.
We're actually working now with a group of computer science students at UNC. We're developing a prototype game that integrates some of the fundamental concepts of psychotherapy that we hope will be effective in treating depression. The big appeal of our game is that it's going to be accessible and fun to play, not just for people with depression, but for anyone. And so hopefully our game will be out on the market this upcoming March. That's our timeline for now.
So at this point, we're looking for people who have experience in game distribution. Also people who are interested in or have experience in sound production and editing. And of course, because we're a startup, we're also looking for seed funding for further development after the prototype.
We're really excited about having the opportunity to be here to talk to you guys. We've already talked to a bunch of people who have complementary and overlapping interests. We also wanted to thank Full City Forward for giving us this opportunity to talk.